tiny island that built the largest empire in human history. A kingdom born from invasions, reborn through revolutions, and transformed into a modern superpower. This is the epic story of the United Kingdom, from the Stone Age to Brexit. Today, we unlock the extraordinary journey of the United Kingdom, a land of ancient warriors, legendary kings, global empires, revolutions, and world-changing inventions. A nation that once ruled a quarter of the earth and still shapes our modern era. From the fierce battles of ancient warriors to the rise of powerful monarchs, the United Kingdom's journey is marked by a series of pivotal events. As we move closer to the present, the transformation into a modern superpower is evident in the streets of London, where history and innovation exist side by side. The signing of the Magna Carta marked a turning point in the evolution of rights and governance in the United Kingdom. As centuries passed, the spirit of innovation thrived, leading to advancements that define the modern age. Long before kings' castles or empires, Britain was a land of forests, rivers, and migrating tribes. The first humans arrived over 800,000 years ago, enduring harsh ice ages and constantly shifting climates. By around 4000 BCE, early farming communities settled across the island, building mysterious stone structures and sacred sites. The most iconic of these is Stonehenge, believed to be a ceremonial or astronomical monument. Prehistoric Britain had no written language, but its people lived in tribes, hunted, farmed, and formed strong spiritual traditions. These early societies laid the foundation for the cultural identity of the islands long before they were ever called Britain. As the sun rose and set over these ancient lands, rituals and traditions began to weave a rich tapestry of life, forever imprinting the spirit of those early settlers onto the very soil of Britain. Through their hard work and unity, these early communities connected deeply with the land, leaving behind echoes of their existence, captured in sacred sites and artifacts. Around 800 BCE, a new wave of people arrived: the Celts. Highly skilled in warfare, metalwork, and storytelling, Celtic tribes such as the Iceni, Brigantes, and Picts spread across what is now England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. They lived in fortified hill settlements and followed powerful warrior leaders. Druid priests held spiritual and political influence, performing rituals in sacred groves. Celtic Britain was fiercely independent, filled with rival tribes constantly competing for power. By 55-54 BCE, Julius Caesar attempted to conquer these lands but failed. However, Caesar's reports fascinated Rome, and soon the empire would return with much greater force. Julius Caesar, determined to expand the Roman Empire, set sail across the Channel, his sights firmly fixed on the rich lands of Britain. Upon landing, he encountered fierce resistance from the Celts, who fought valiantly to defend their homeland. The Casidians and other tribes rallied together, showcasing their prowess in combat, while the Romans sought to establish their dominance. Despite the initial skirmishes, the clashes revealed both the strength and resilience of the Celtic people, igniting further interest back in Rome about these formidable tribes. In 43 CE, Emperor Claudius launched a full-scale invasion of Britain, quickly crushing resistance from local tribes, except for the relentless Scottish Highlanders in the north. One of the most iconic rebellions came from Queen Boudicca, the fierce leader of the Iceni tribe, who united her people to launch a formidable challenge against the Roman invaders. As Queen Boudicca led her revolt, Rome responded with brutal force, reinforcing its control by constructing towns, roads, forts, and the famous Hadrian's Wall, which marked the northern boundary of the empire. For nearly 400 years, Britain thrived as Britannia, embracing Roman culture, laws, architecture, and trade that transformed the landscape into a bustling hub of civilization. By 410 CE, as Rome withdrew its armies from the island, Britannia was left vulnerable, leading to chaos and unrest among its inhabitants. The withdrawal marked a turning point, as local tribes began to reclaim their land, leading to a tumultuous period filled with power struggles and shifting allegiances. After the Romans departed, Britain found itself in a precarious situation. Waves of Germanic tribes, namely the Anglo-Saxons and Jutes, began to cross the North Sea, eager to claim new territories. These tribes established new kingdoms, including Wessex, Mercia, and Northumbria, gradually overshadowing the existing Celtic culture. The Anglo-Saxon period flourished with the creation of timeless legends like Beowulf, weaving rich narratives that became foundational to the English language. Yet the peace established by these new kingdoms was fleeting as a formidable threat loomed on the horizon, the arrival of Viking raiders who would alter the course of Britain's history. As the Vikings descended upon Britain, chaos erupted, testing the resilience of the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms and shaping the future of the land. Battles ensued marked by both valor and tragedy, as the Anglo-Saxons fought fiercely to protect their homes against this relentless foe. Despite the violence, the courage of the Anglo-Saxons shone through, leading to victories that allowed them to reclaim their lands and rebuild their communities. In the late 8th century, Viking longships appeared along Britain's coasts. These Norse warriors raided monasteries, towns, and villages, striking fear across the land. Over time, they didn't just raid, they settled. Large parts of northern and eastern England became the Danelaw, controlled by Viking lords and rulers. Kings like Alfred the Great fought hard to defend the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, eventually pushing back and uniting England under one rule. The Vikings integrated with locals and reshaped culture, language, and politics. But this balance would be shattered once more, with another invasion that changed British history forever. The ongoing conflicts led to legendary battles that would be remembered for generations, shaping the future of Britain. As towns lay in ruin and families were displaced, the spirit of the people remained unbroken, determined to rise from the ashes. In the face of adversity, the people found strength in their heritage, readying themselves for whatever challenges lay ahead. Amidst the chaos of conflict, moments of celebration reminded them of their rich culture and the bonds that held their communities together. In 1066, Duke William of Normandy claimed the English throne and launched one of the most famous invasions in history. After defeating King Harold at the Battle of Hastings, William became William the Conqueror. The Normans transformed England with stone castles, French customs, feudalism, and a new ruling elite. The English language absorbed thousands of French words, shaping modern English. The Domesday Book recorded every village, showing Norman control over the entire kingdom. This conquest marked the beginning of a new era, one of powerful kings' castles and dramatic struggles for the English crown. The impact of the Norman conquest reshaped English society, altering traditions and establishing new hierarchies. As a result, England would never be the same, blending two distinct cultures into a new identity. These changes laid the foundation for a society that would evolve over centuries, intertwining history and culture in intricate ways. The Norman conquest paved the way for future generations to navigate their complex heritage, creating a rich narrative of adaptation and endurance. The medieval era brought centuries of royal battles, church influence, and political change. Kings like Henry II strengthened the justice system, while knights and nobles clashed during the Barons' War, which led to the creation of the Magna Carta, a groundbreaking document limiting royal power. England fought France in the 100 Years' War, producing heroes like Joan of Arc and military tactics that changed warfare. Meanwhile, the Black Death killed millions, transforming society and weakening feudalism. By the time the Wars of the Roses ended in 1485, a new dynasty, the Tudors, was ready to reshape Britain. The rise of the Tudors signified not just a change in leadership, but a profound transformation in the identity of England, setting the stage for future developments. With the Tudors at the helm, England began to embrace a sense of national identity that would influence its culture, politics, and society for generations to come. The Tudor dynasty not only brought stability, but also fostered a period of artistic flourishing, exploration, and the blossoming of English culture. The Tudor dynasty began with Henry VII, but it was Henry VIII who changed history by breaking from the Catholic Church and forming the Church of England. His daughter Elizabeth I guided Britain through cultural renaissance, the defeat of the Spanish Armada, and the early stages of global expansion. Shakespeare exploration and naval power flourished. England emerged stronger, richer, and more unified, setting the stage for empire. Amidst this backdrop of cultural and political transformation, the seeds of an empire were sown as England prepared to make its mark on the world stage. The Tudor era was marked by opulence and ambition, where every feast and meeting played a role in shaping the future of a kingdom ready to assert its dominance. Under Elizabeth's reign, the arts thrived and trade flourished, reflecting a nation that embraced innovation and sought connections beyond its shores. The theatre pulsed with creativity, while the seas roared with conflict as England navigated the challenges of a rapidly changing world. The Stuarts came to power amid great tension as King Charles I faced a fierce struggle with Parliament that ignited the English Civil War, culminating in his execution, and a short-lived Republican era led by Oliver Cromwell. After the monarchy's restoration, the Glorious Revolution of 1688 brought forth a constitutional monarchy, curtailing royal authority and affirming the dominance of Parliament, laying the groundwork for what would evolve into modern British democracy. As William of Orange and Mary arrived in London, they were welcomed by enthusiastic crowds, celebrating the shift in power, marking the beginning of a new era. This period saw Parliament convening with fervour as representatives from various backgrounds engaged in debates that reinforced the principles of democracy and shaped the future of governance in England. The execution of King Charles I marked a harrowing moment in history, demonstrating the fierce backlash against absolute monarchy and the fight for parliamentary power. Following this upheaval, the Bill of Rights in 1689 was introduced, laying down critical laws that limited royal authority and solidified the rights of Parliament, establishing principles that would guide modern governance. In 1707, England and Scotland signed the Act of Union, forming the Kingdom of Great Britain. This union strengthened trade, military power, and political stability. Later, in 1801, Ireland was added, creating the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. Britain now stood united, just in time for the greatest transformation in human history. As this new nation emerged, the world began to change rapidly, marked by innovation and progress that would reshape society. The Industrial Revolution took root in Britain, revolutionizing manufacturing and transforming everyday life. As new technologies emerged, cities expanded and the population grew, the UK became a hub of creativity and industry. This transformation led to both opportunities and challenges as social dynamics shifted dramatically. The demands for reform echoed through the streets as citizens sought to address inequality and workers' rights. This era was marked by a struggle for representation and justice, shaping the future of the nation. The Industrial Revolution marked a transformative era in Britain during the 1700s and 1800s, as factories, steam engines, and trains became the cornerstones of a new age. Inventors like James Watt and engineers such as Isambard Kingdom Brunel revolutionized production methods and transportation, drawing millions to cities in search of work. Britain evolved into the world's workshop, establishing itself as a global superpower, with its technological advancements spreading far and wide. As the demand for coal surged, workers toiled in perilous conditions underground, their efforts powering the engines of industry. The advent of the steam locomotive transformed travel and trade, connecting distant regions and pushing Britain into an era of unprecedented economic growth. The Industrial Revolution brought about harsh realities, including the exploitation of child labor in factories as families sought to survive in a rapidly changing economy. Yet amidst the struggles, a new consumer culture emerged, with the marketplaces bustling with goods made possible by industrial advancements. During the 19th century, the United Kingdom constructed the largest empire ever witnessed, commanding vast territories across continents such as Africa, India, Asia, the Middle East, and the Americas. Queen Victoria's era was marked by remarkable advancements in science and culture, while simultaneously causing challenges such as colonization, resistance, and exploitation. The empire transformed global borders, languages, and cultures, leaving an enduring impact felt in many regions to this day. As the empire expanded its reach, it ushered in an era of global trade, mingling diverse cultures and economies, while also encountering significant resistance from colonized nations. The quest for dominance led to fierce resistance from colonized peoples as they fought valiantly for their rights and freedoms against the encroaching empire. Despite the advancements brought forth by the empire, the shadows of exploitation and cultural erasure cast a long and complex legacy on the nations affected. The British Empire, while heralding progress and development, often left behind communities struggling to reclaim their identities and traditions amid the changes imposed upon them. Britain entered World War I as one of the world's greatest powers. Millions of soldiers fought in brutal trench warfare. Though the Allies won, the cost was enormous: lost lives, debt, and weakening global influence. The empire survived, but it would never be the same. As the war progressed, Britain saw an influx of young men volunteering to serve, driven by patriotism and a sense of duty. The sacrifices made during the conflict led to countless memorials honoring those who never returned home. The harsh realities of war took a toll on soldiers who faced not only enemy fire but also the brutal conditions of winter. Each day was a test of endurance as they fought on the front lines, clinging to hope amidst the chaos. In the trenches, moments of camaraderie emerged even amid exhaustion as soldiers shared what little they had while the battle raged on. Meanwhile, the dedication of nurses in makeshift hospitals provided critical care, showcasing the resilience of those who served. Britain stood almost alone against Hitler after much of Europe fell. Winston Churchill's leadership, the RAF's victory in the Battle of Britain and global Allied support helped defeat Nazi Germany. But the war devastated the economy and signaled the slow end of empire. Amidst the chaos, young soldiers left their homes to fight for freedom, capturing the emotional weight of separation from their families. The City of London bore the scars of relentless bombings, but its spirit remained unbroken as citizens bravely faced the nightly assaults. As the tide turned, Allied leaders united in strategic planning to bring an end to the tyranny of Nazism. When the victory finally arrived, jubilant crowds spilled into the streets, celebrating newfound freedom and the end of years of hardship. In the aftermath of World War II, communities gathered to honor those who sacrificed their lives for freedom, ensuring that their bravery would never be forgotten. The next generation learned about the lessons of the past, understanding the importance of peace and resilience. After World War II, nations across Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean embarked on a transformative journey towards independence, marking a significant shift in global politics. The United Kingdom transitioned from a colonial empire to a partnership model, actively contributing to the formation of the Commonwealth. Concurrently, it focused on rebuilding its economy and establishing a welfare state, adapting to the evolving dynamics of the world. The 1997 handover of Hong Kong symbolized the final chapter of the British Empire, a poignant moment reflecting the profound changes of the era. As countries like India and Ghana declared their independence, waves of hope spread across continents, inspiring movements for freedom and self-determination everywhere. These newly independent nations sought to forge their identities while navigating the complex relationships with their former colonizers. The United Kingdom faced the challenge of redefining its role in a world that was rapidly changing, focusing on collaboration rather than control. The legacy of decolonization reshaped global relations, ushering in an era characterized by new alliances and partnerships. Today, the UK remains a major global force in culture, economy, science, education, and media. London stands as a financial capital, and British culture influences music, films, and literature worldwide. But the nation has also faced challenges: debates over identity, Scottish independence, and the historic Brexit vote, which separated the UK from the European Union. Despite political shifts, the UK remains one of the world's most influential nations. This is the complete history of UK by history. Unlock, please like, share, and subscribe, because your one like means a lot. As the nation adapts to its new position on the global stage, post-Brexit discussions about identity and unity continue to shape the future of the United Kingdom. In this evolving landscape, the fusion of technology and tradition creates new opportunities for expression and connection across the globe. As creativity flourishes in this melting pot of ideas, the United Kingdom continues to play a pivotal role in shaping global culture and conversations.